Well, kids headed back to school often helps to usher in cold and flu season with lots of new germs in close quarters. That's why the whole family can benefit from a healthy immune system.
Doctors are finding it's much more complex than just getting enough sleep or taking so-called immune boosting supplements. Turns out with the right foods, you can help train your immune system to work better, almost like you train at the gym.
I talked with nutritional medicine expert Dr. Jeffrey Bland about how important your digestive health can be in keeping you healthy.
I've always thought of the immune system as something that you can do certain things to kind of boost it or protect it, right? You take some vitamin C before you go get on a plane, but it sounds like there's a better way to be looking at it.
Yes, I think that for most individuals, the concept of how we actually make our immune system as fit as possible is built around this concept of immune renewal, that people don't recognize that the immune cells that are floating around their body today are going to be different than the immune cells that will be floating around their body 2 months from now. Our immune system turns itself over and it rejuvenates itself every couple of months. What actually promotes rejuvenation? And I think one of the great new discoveries is that if you ask where a lot of the immune system activity occurs in the body, believe it or not, it occurs in our intestinal tract. It occurs in the region of our body where the body is communicating, the immune system is communicating to the outside world through the immune system that's clustered around our digestive system. In fact, more than 50% of our immune system is clustered around our digestive system. Now, people would ask, well, why the heck is that? Why would the immune system be stuck around our intestinal tract? It's because our immune system is responsible for decoding information that comes into our body to make it friendly. And if you think of what happens in the course of life, we eat a lot of foods that are not us. They're foreign foods, and our body has to decide how to allow them to enter into the body peacefully. And so our immune system, about 50+% of it, is clustered around our intestinal tract. And as we have now learned, our intestinal tract is filled with all sorts of critters that we call the microbiome. Some of those are friendly, some of them are not so friendly. Not so friendly bacteria in the microbiome create an alarmed immune system. That then puts a stress on our immune system and lowers our capability of defending ourselves against other things that might come up later. We're putting stress on our immune system. So we want a friendly microbiome, and that relates then to the diet we're eating. Are we eating a diet that's got a good amount of fiber? Are we eating a diet that is not got a lot of toxic substances? Are we eating a diet that's low in allergy, things like gluten that some people are sensitive to? Are we eating a diet that is capable of supporting the friendly bacteria? These are called probiotics that help our friendly bacteria to survive. So we focus a lot in terms of educating individuals about their immune system on how to promote proper, healthy, digestive microbiome intestinal immunity. It's a really important thing. Our plant foods contain a range of nutrients that have kind of been not been very important until recently in understanding the role that they play on our immunity. These are so-called flavonoids or phytochemicals that are in vegetable products and fruit products that actually have a friendly relationship with the good bacteria of our intestinal tract and help to promote proper immunity. So one of the things that we do is we really try to have a person augment their fruit and vegetable intake during the course of an immune rejuvenation program, particularly fruits and vegetables that are rich in these flavonoids, things like onions and things like apples, and really the whole fruit and vegetable family are rich in flavonoids if they're unprocessed and eaten in their whole form. And this is a major step forward, I think, in our understanding how to kind of bolster our immune system. Most people don't think of fruits and vegetables as containing these unique immune potentiating or rejuvenating nutrients. Things like quercetin is a nutrient that some people may be familiar with. That's a very powerful immunorejuvenating nutrient. And so we're really spending a lot of time studying how to actually compose a diet that really enhances the level of these immune strengthening, immune rejuvenating nutrients that are coming from certain unique plant foods.
That's so interesting. So my mom was on the right track when she would say, you got to have those oranges and then get some orange slices for the vitamin C, but it's actually much bigger than that, right? It's lots of different fruits and vegetables and different substances that can be good for your gut. What else would be good for families to really keep in mind, or some foods to think about introducing this year to try and rejuvenate our immunity?
Well, another thing that I think we residents of the Pacific Northwest are fully aware of are the important role that omega-3 fatty acids, particularly derived from salmon, have on the immune system. This is an area that we've been spending quite a bit of time researching in our group, looking at the effect of these polyunsaturated fatty acids that are found principally in cold water fish like salmon and to some extent herring and cod. And these particular fatty acids have a very favorable effect on immunorejuvenation. In fact, they work like as buddies along with these plant-derived flavonoids that I mentioned. And in fact, it was interesting, you used the orange example. Oranges, as we know, are rich in vitamin C, but they're also very rich in flavonoids. And the flavonoids work together. These immune-strengthening phytochemicals work together with vitamin C in rejuvenating the immune system. So these concepts of taking one nutrient at a time is probably not as important as taking the family of these nutrients that really help to strengthen and rejuvenate the immune system. So there are a range of fruits and vegetables coupled with, we think of a diet maybe with salmon for dinner with some fresh broccoli and or cauliflower, and we have a little bit of a fruit pie for dessert. Now we're getting a lot of very interesting immune strengthening nutrients.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You've studied food as functional medicine for so many years. Do you think that looking at the response that food can have for our immune system, is this a good way to really maybe kind of bridge that gap for people between what we eat really acting as medicine for our bodies?
I think you said something really important there, and I would put an exclamation point behind it, that the construct that food is more than just calories. Mm-hmm. Food is more than just energy. Food is actually information for our genes. Food is actually speaking to our genes, the nutrients within foods, to tell our body how to work. So we're starting to learn that there are kind of superfoods that really can do positive benefit in promoting immune system function.
Wow. Well, Dr. Jeffrey Bland, it's a lot of food for thought, pun intended, but appreciate you joining us to talk about all kinds of immune rejuvenation. I'm going to start saying that instead of immune boosting.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be with you.
If you want to learn more, check out Dr. Bland's book, The Disease Delusion, Conquering the Causes of Chronic Illness for a Healthier, Longer, and Happier Life. It's available wherever books are sold. And every morning for the next 2 weeks, KOIN 6 and AM Extra is going back to school with you. Tomorrow, we're headed to Beaverton. We'll talk about the importance of kindergarten and pre-K. Catch that interview on KOIN 6, your back to school headquarters.